So I have some really useful information to share with you if you're a Flundereeze player that's going to really help you in deciding on your deck list. And even if you're not into deck building and just want to, copy someone else's deck list and play with it, which is totally fine, it's really going to help you in siding and knowing, which cards are worth siding out or which cards are ones that you never want to take out. And what we're looking at here is what is, in my opinion, the bare minimum for consistency cards that we're going to have in our deck. So the 3 map, 3 advent, 3 eaglin, 3 Rubina, 1 Stree, and 1 Takan. You never want to have less than this, not before siding, not after siding. And these do happen to be the ratios found in the YCS top 4 list. Now, personally, I think it's worthwhile and worth the benefit to add 1 or 2 more consistency cards. Now, here's the facts about those of you who would like to do so. This is the benefit you'll get for adding 1 copy of Stree. Adding 1 Stree gives you a 2.75% boost to your probability of opening up both a map and a level 1 Flundereeze monster in your opening hand. Now, what's really interesting is that if instead of adding a Stree, we added 1 Gold Sark, we would get a 4.25% boost to our probability of opening up a map a little bit. When I say map, I mean a card that is either literally the Magnificent Map or a card that functions similarly to it, such as Advent of Adventure or Gold Sarcophagus. So that's a 1.5% boost to consistency by adding Gold Sark instead of Stree. And you might be wondering, where are these numbers coming from? What are you even talking about? I'm going to make a much more in-depth video going into, where those numbers came from and stuff like that, if for those that are interested. But for the sake of brevity in this video, just know, yes, you get a 4.25 boost to your probability of opening up a Little Bird and map by adding Gold Sark, which is 1.5% more than if you added Stree. Now, let's say you wanted to add 1 more, and it's a personal decision. I'm not going to tell you what's optimal. You're going to have to test the odds of whether or not you want to play the bare minimum or reduce your chances of bricking. I think that this is about as much as you'd want to play. I think 16, at this point, you're going to be plenty consistent. You're not brick proof, but we are playing a deck that struggles to have deck space for lots of things already. So I think 16 is kind of the maximum you'd ever want to play. And that's an opinion, so if you disagree, that's just fine. But if you add a second copy of a card that functions like map, it will give you a bigger boost to consistency than if you added another Little Bird. So if we add Gold Sark and Terraforming to our previous ratio, we get an 8.15% boost to consistency. So, we could expect that over 1,000 games we play during a format that, 80 times where we otherwise would have bricked and opened an unplayable hand, we would be able to open a playable hand. And it's up to you to decide if that's worth adding 2 cards, but that's the important takeaway here is that the Gold Sark is giving us more consistency than the second Stree is. The second Stree is what let's say this is your deck list. You got the Stree and you got the Gold Sark, and you're siding. What's the one you'd want to take out if you had to dig into your consistency cards during siding? You'd want to take out the Stree before you take out the Gold Sark. And now there might be other considerations that you're thinking about. You're like, well, wait a minute. I want to keep as many winged beast monsters in my hand as possible, in my deck, so I can keep Advent of Adventure alive. And I took that into account as well as I came up with these numbers. And I'll talk about that more in the more in-depth breakdown of this. But, the reality of it is you're more likely to be in a situation where you have a Little Bird, such as Stree or Eaglin, and not a map, than you are to be in a situation where you have Advent of Adventure or map and not have a Little Bird. It's much more likely that you'll not have a map and have a name than that you'll have the inverse of that. So that's just the facts. That's the numbers. And I'm going to be doing a in-depth breakdown of, hand traps for this deck in particular and other things as well if you're interested. But that's the bare essentials of what I came up with after crunching the numbers, and I wanted to share that with you.